It's Wednesday, July 22nd, and today I'm going to go up the road towards Toad Lake a little ways, and there's some dirt roads off to the left that I have not been on yet. I'll give them a try. And I thought I would just show for a second my new LED tail light turn signal combo. Will make it easier to avoid breaking off turn signals. That's what the turn signal looks like. I mean, this is not DOT approved, so I could be given some grief about that. Hopefully not. And I put some LED front turn signals on while I was at it too. They're also not DOT approved, but you know, what the heck. It's Wednesday, about 9:40 in the morning. Okay, here's where I turn to either do my Eddys loop or turn left towards Toad Lake, which is what I will do. I'll show the track now of what I did today in case you want to refer back to it. And this is my turn towards Toad Lake. Okay, so that little flag, that's where I'm going to turn and go that way. And it actually shows the roads in here. I'm going to try these roads and maybe I'll see them well enough on this. Now, I've been up this before, but I don't know that I've gone very far on it, so this is actually familiar to me. But although I've been up this before, I never made a track on it, so I didn't have anything verifying that I've been here. I remember that turn, I remember that first little corner, but I'm not sure that I remember anything else, so I may have just gone a little ways and immediately stopped. This is feeling new to me. I don't think I've been on this. And the Toad Lake Road is a highway compared to this. It's just turning into your typical goat track. Although I've seen much worse, and I may see much worse here soon. I don't know. Climbing pretty steep. I've seen steeper, but I mean this is still coming up at a pretty good grade. So my first goal is to try to get to right there. There's a view of Mount Shasta. Got a big lenticular cloud up there today. Up for a second and just get a good look at it. You can see Black Butte over there and then Mount Shasta. And Lake Siskiyou down below there. I'm over 5,500 elevation at the moment. I didn't check when I started. But I've come up quite a ways. Okay, so there's a road to my left. That's one that I will come back to and check out. Looks like it's even less used than this one, possibly. And in case I didn't say it earlier, I have definitely not been on this before. That corner, I think I just turned around the corner once and looked at it and said, not today. So today is the day. Oh, I just realized that turn back there I saw to the left is the one I had been thinking about going. So I'm going to just reset Garmin to take me over this way instead. I was thinking about checking all this out. Oh boy, this goes a long ways too. So kind of far point here is right there. See if I can make it that far. And I don't know that I can or not. And can I actually pay attention to the track on the Zumo and actually go where it tells me to go? But if I can get to that point I just marked on the Zumo, I think that will be plenty for today. Now, a section right through here is just kind of a normal forest road where it's not that hard. Getting up to this was kind of steep and loose rock. That was a little bit challenging. Have I ever said when you go on roads like this solo, it is, well, which way to go? I think it'd go to the right. Yes, I do. It is really important to have a reliable motorcycle. Knock on wood, KLX has been, but you get a breakdown up here, you've got some challenging things to deal with. You're either going to have to get a vehicle up here that you can carry it out on, which would not be that easy. Our truck is too big for roads like this. Again, I could probably do it, but I think I would be pinstriping it, which I really don't want to do. It's a nice truck. Or you got to figure out how to fix it on your own and get it out of here. And if you can't do that, you're looking at a very long hike out. Okay, what is this now? Which way do I want to go? So Guy doesn't show this road to the right, but both of them show this road to Going left, there's a little bit of a turn here, and that's where I want to go. If you notice my rear end is sliding around, it's because it's a little bit hard to get speed up on a kind of a steep, looser hill like this. And this road just got a whole lot worse. Maybe now it'll get a little better for a while, I hope. Going back, everything I'm going to go back on is pretty much downhill, which does not guarantee no tip overs. You still have to be careful. Wow, that looks like a goat track to the left. I don't want that. This one's bad enough. That probably just goes down to a little meadow. I went for a ride with Bob yesterday. We went out to the Black Butte Trailhead. That's a road to check out another day. It looks better than some of the ones I see. I'm at almost 6,000 feet here, and now I'm going down. But the point I was about to make is we briefly traded motorcycles, and I rode his klx230 on a dirt road up there by the trailhead for Black Butte. And his bike it's a klx250, but it's identical to 300. And it's been lowered an inch. Suspension is too stiff for me. Bob outweighs me. He's a little bigger than I am, longer legs. Works for him. He sets on and compresses enough he can get his feet down. But I can't. I can kind of tiptoe it. Now my klx300, I set the suspension a whole lot softer. As a result, it would compress a little more, and I think I could get the balls of my feet down, but I couldn't even come close to flat-footing it. But it reminded me why I've got this motorcycle. Maybe I can't quite flat-foot it, but I get my feet down pretty far. And I didn't really like to do roads like this that much on the klx300 just because I tipped it over too often. And I do not tip this motorcycle over all that often. Yes, I still do, but not that often. Definitely campsites out here. People drive out here with their OHV sorts of vehicles. Maybe they go hunting. I don't know what they come out here for, but you get a few people out here occasionally. Well, got to see a little water up here. We'll often get rain up here that we never ever see in Mt Shasta. You're kind of in a different zone once you come up into these are the Klamath Mountains, but we call it the Eddys because Mount Eddy is the highest peak in the Klamath Mountain range. And it kind of defines this area. So we call it the Eddys. But it gets a lot more rain up here than back at our house. I go to the right here. It actually shows this on the Zumo. Now, pay attention. If this should get too steep and gnarly to make it back up, I got to stop before I get to that stage. So far, not a problem. I can come back up this. Now, so far, I'd rate these roads that I've been on as anywhere from fairly easy to moderately to fairly hard. I think an intermediate level rider could probably do this. A beginner should stay away. Now, every beginner is different. There's some very athletic and very adventurous. Am I going down this? I think I am. Oh boy, this is another one of those things that coming up could be a challenge. So if it isn't obvious yet, I made the call. I'm not going to ride any further. I'm going to walk across that little creek. Looks like there's a wide open patch on the other side. And this road still goes quite a ways. Okay, so I'm going to cross the creek. Just walking. And there's a flat spot on the other side that I think I'm going to fly a drone from. It'd be super easy to ride over this. Not at all like that Nay Springs Creek that I turned around on a while back. Coming up the other side looks pretty easy too. Just the same. I think at this point I've gone long enough, it's time to turn around. Well, dirt bike's been up here, saw some tracks in the mud from one. Nice thing about this DJI Neo 2 is it's really easy to just send it off with almost no effort. And it's time for a drink of water. I just thought I'd wait for a minute. Well, there's still lots of roads out here I haven't ridden, and I didn't finish this one, and looking at this I could have. But it's just getting late enough, long enough that I am ready to head back. All these forest roads out here. Well, getting back is going to take a little while. They're tricky sections. And it's kind of like when I did that ride over to the Nay Springs Creek and turned around and tipped it over. There's spots where that could happen. 1 hour and 20 minutes to get here. I'm guessing just heading back might take an hour, and it's 10:59, so I'm hoping I'm going to be home at noon. To make that happen, I got to ride all this as cleanly as possible. Starting with this hill that I came down, which may be the hardest part of what I'm going to do this ride. And flat's a little bit here, but there's a lot more of this coming up. And I'm going to do everything I can to not get complacent. Pay attention and be careful and pick good lines. Well, that was the first challenge. I think most of the other challenges coming up will be downhill. And that's one of those places I just came up on the way down. I made a comment, I can get back up this. And I could, but you've got to always make that judgment call. If you don't think you can make it back up, do not go. I guess there was a little more uphill challenging stuff to get through. Okay, I took a wrong turn. But you know what? Where I turned is how I came up. I told Garmin to take me home, and it's taking me home on a little bit different route, so I think it's a more direct route to the road to Toad Lake. It actually isn't taking me to the road to Toad Lake, it's actually taking me to that WA bar FR26, which I find out later. That's kind of how this day's gone though, so why not? I'm going to explore a little more of this than I originally planned to. So that wrong turn I took back there really wasn't wrong. That is how I came in. But there was challenging stuff to go through going that way. I have to believe there will be going this way too. But unlike going the way I came in, I don't know for sure I can get through here. There'd be a big tree or something blocking everything. Of course, I just had to pick something that's going to keep climbing. I was planning to save some of this for another day, and this was part of what I wanted to do, so it's not all bad doing this. It's just going to turn into a lot longer ride than I hoped for if I can't actually make it through. Boy, I'm up to 6,500 feet. 6,554, that's the highest I've seen so far today.
When I got home, I checked, and I topped out just slightly over 6,600 feet.
And that tells me I'm probably going down almost 1,000 feet now to get to the Toad Lake Road.
Also checked this when I got home, and I went down about 1,900 vertical feet.
In a fairly short distance. We'll see, I hope I'm wrong. I hope it's not that much. Oh, it's a neat overlook. I think see just a little bit of Castle Crags peeking through over there. And that valley down below is the valley that the Toad Lake Road goes up. I'm headed down there.
I couldn't tell looking at Garmin, but actually I was heading down to WA Bar FR26, not the Toad Lake Road, and that valley is the valley that FR26 goes up.
I'd just soon not have this turn into something crazy steep.
Ha! Good luck with that. It does get crazy steep, and I'm not going to the Toad Lake Road.
And Garmin tells me I got 2.9 miles on this road. Well, if I get down here and find out I have to cross a creek or something to make it through, I just might go for it. Depends on how bad it looks. Be a little more motivated. I really don't want to have to backtrack up here. Can I do it? Sure. Will I do it if there's a creek crossing and it worries me? Yeah. Hope I don't have to. And I've gone far enough on this that I'm going to go until something forces me to turn around. This is always an issue out here when you try to do loops. Something can block you where instead of a loop, it turns into an out and back, and you have to get back the way you came. Well, I'd have to expect I wouldn't make it all the way back clean without something challenging, and this is challenging. I don't know which is easier going through something like that, going up it or going down it. Neither one is all that easy. Definitely got some dirt bike tracks on this. That's a good sign. I think this will make it all the way through. This is not easy. Woo. Might have been the hardest stretch yet. Problem is all these loose rocks really kick your front wheel and back wheel around. And you don't want it to kick you around so far you wind up tipping over. 1 mile to go. How much more of this am I going to see? This is okay, but I'm kind of regrouping a little. Got a little arm pump going through that, which, I don't know, better rider, maybe you could stay a little looser going through that, but I was fighting that a bit. I know this will not look steep in the YouTube video, but boy, when I pull the clutch in, this thing wants to rocket ship off. It's steep enough for that. Compression braking is the only thing keeping it a little bit under control. Don't want to have to ride the brakes all the way down this. I was at 6,500 feet up there a while back, and now I'm at 51. I have come down a very long ways. I hate to be a wimp, but this is just hard enough and has enough potential where I could get myself in trouble. I'm probably not going to do this loop again. And again, lots of little side roads up here, but I just don't know. This is a tough area. At least for me it is. Now, if it stays like this, I'd be willing to come up this a ways, but where it starts getting into those rocky, loose, steep areas, I'd probably rather not ride up those either. I'm guessing I could ride up, and it probably wouldn't be a whole lot harder than going down them, but still, going down them, I wasn't positive I was going to keep it on two wheels. No, I used to think the Toad Lake Road was moderately challenging, and I don't anymore. This is much harder. This is quite a bit harder than the Eddys Loop. I think the Eddys Loop is probably about as hard as I want to do if I'm going to do it over and over, which I do. This, I don't want to do over and over. I think I'm looking at the Toad Lake Road straight ahead. Or not. What is it? Is that some paved road? What is this taking me to? I'll be dipped. So, Garmin really doesn't make it that easy to tell what the roads are, but better and better. This is not the Toad Lake Road, this is FR26. I've just got an easy road ride back, and I am fine with that. So I've gone up that road a little bit, at least once. It'll be interesting to check and see just when I did it and how far I went. I certainly didn't go anywhere near as far as I just went today.
I just checked with using Gaia, and when I rode this a while back, I had turned off of FR26, went up this about 1.4 miles, climbed about 900 vertical feet, and I don't remember it being quite as tiring as what I just did. I was tired by the time I got to this downhill section, and I think that made all the difference.
I still think the way I went up was a little bit easier than the way I came down. That had some really steep, rocky, loose sections coming down that had me spooked going downhill. I was afraid I could lose control and drop it. I think I was on those kind of somewhat challenging dirt to very challenging dirt roads for a little over an hour and a half. That's plenty for me. That got me tired.
The challenging section on what I call the Eddys Loop only takes maybe 10-12 minutes. That is a huge difference in why I enjoy riding that over and over again. It doesn't wear me out.
And that's where I started, up towards that Toad Lake Road. Just tied the loop now. So okay, I rode 31 miles and almost 4,000 feet of vertical ascent up and down.
So what I call the Eddys Loop only has about 2,000 feet of total ascent, half of what I just did. And now it's a little confusing. What I just did is another Eddys Loop, but much harder.